Welcome to Lakers Central, where I discuss the most famous basketball team on the planet with the biggest, brightest, and up and coming voices in sports and culture. Before I get into today's show, make sure you go to LakersCentral.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and subscribe to our newsletter. I just gave away 2 copies of the Mamba Forever edition of 2K21. Shout out to Matt Martin and Robert Carrillo. They were the winners. So make sure you subscribe. So speaking of NBA 2K, I have a special guest on today's show, host of NBA 2K TV, Chris Manning. Welcome to the show, Chris. How is it going?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. So first, let me just ask you about 2K because when I said you were coming on, of course, everybody's asking me about 2K and ask you questions, right?
Sure.
So, fans are always interested in who the cover athlete is for the various 2K editions. And we knew that Dame was going to be on there. We knew that Zion would be on there. And as a Laker fan and a avid 2K player, I assume Kobe would get the nod for the legend cover. But you guys took it a step further in calling it the Mamba Forever Edition. I know you're on a different side of things now with 2K, but can you share any insight into how you decided or how 2K decided working with Kobe? Did you all have to work with Vanessa Bryant, anything like that? What was it like? And you as a Laker fan, I mean, what was it like now that Kobe has passed, having him on the cover?
So I spent about, 7 years on the marketing side prior to coming back and hosting 2K TV. So I had my hand in all the covers from 2K11 all the way up to 2K18. So
Wow.
the process is always really interesting, from concepts to the actual final design of the cover to the athletes that we choose. We always have tried to work with people that really love the brand and, played 2K and, worked with us and had fun. And obviously Kobe was on the cover of 2K10. I was a part when he was on the cover of the 2K17 Legend Edition. Actually helped name that edition. So that was a really special one when he retired. Right there. I love it. That's my man right there. So, having him on that cover was really special, and I'm glad that we honored him. Obviously, 2020 has been just such a devastating year in so many ways. And, his death really affected me personally. Just being a Laker fan and doing videos since I was 13, covering the guy from the spawn of Laker Nation back in the day, all the way to, where I'm at now in my career, being able to have multiple opportunities to work with Kobe in the past on various projects. It's just been such a tragic, unfortunate year in so many ways. And the Kobe death it affected me personally really, really badly. So, I wish it was under better circumstances, obviously, that we could celebrate a player of his caliber and the person that so many fans loved around the world. But I find it really warming that so many people were asking for Kobe to be on the cover, and we as 2K were able to make that happen, and working with the Bryant estate. Ronnie was on a live stream talking about a little bit about the process of working. Everything goes through Vanessa and the Bryant estate. And really the one thing that I can share that I know, Kobe loved working with 2K as much as our development team and people loved working with Kobe. And that was a really strong relationship there. So I think the Mamba Forever Edition is really touching. I love the fact that they decided to use this paint-esque portrait kind of covers. It's very different. And, we want to honor Kobe as much as we possibly can. And it's still hard to think about, but I'm really, glad that we can honor him in a special way.
Yeah, 2020 has just been. I've never experienced anything like this. The kind of year that we're having, and it almost feels like it was kicked off by Kobe passing away. Certainly as Laker fans, I grew up with him. That's what I feel like. I feel like I grew up with him, watching him through the years, and then I was actually on my way home. I live in Maryland, so I was on my way home from the Philly game that we had. LeBron had passed him in points. I was up in Philly.
Oh wow!
I was on my way. Yeah, I was on my way home that Sunday morning, and my wife says, "Babe, you need to pull over." And I'm like, I think it's something with like our immediate family. Like, okay, what's going on? And she said, they're saying Kobe died. And at that point, it was only, TMZ, of course, had reported it first, but I didn't know how spot on it was. And then all of a sudden, my phone is blowing up. I turned to ESPN radio and Woj is on there and they're starting to confirm these different things. And there were some other wild stories of other people who really weren't involved. But once they confirmed Kobe, um, it was one of the hardest things I've ever experienced for someone that wasn't actually a family member, even though it felt like he was a family member all these years. Can you share maybe what you were doing when you heard the news and what that felt like?
So I'm obviously always on Twitter, and I put my phone down for about like 20 minutes, literally just 20 minutes. And my wife called in tears, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought she had gotten in a car accident. Um, she shared the news, and I obviously was just numb,
Yeah.
and it still kind of hasn't gone away from me. I had probably 200 texts from people I haven't talked to in 10 years, like
Yep.
friends from high school, people that know what I do, people that
Mm-hmm.
have loved my videos over the years. We even had a group chat with all the original creators of Laker Nation,
Mm-hmm.
and talking about stuff, and if we want to do anything to revive that.
Yeah.
It's just like it's really tough, and it still doesn't feel real, in a lot of
Yep.
ways. But I think the message of Kobe wanting things to move forward is a
Mm-hmm.
really strong one, and taking that Mamba mentality and applying it to everything in life is really important as well. So, I think just so much that he was building, especially for women's basketball, and
Mm-hmm.
moving that forward. I think we can kind of carry the torch and help build these things that he had this vision for, at the very least. So it's it's still, I think about it daily, I guess. It's been hard to sit down and want to do any kind of Laker video. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been, yeah, it's affected me in a lot of ways. There's personal stories that I can't share, having moments with
Mm-hmm.
Kobe and stuff like that. But um, yeah, it's been tough on me. It's been really tough.
Yeah, I mean, when you guys released that video of like the artist doing the painting, and I showed it to my wife, and I was overcome a bit by emotion. I mean, there's so much going on that Kobe passing away feels like it was years ago when it was just this year. And he was a big advocate, as you mentioned, for women's sports for the WNBA. He was big about pushing everything forward. Even LeBron passing him in points. I mean, his message at the very end was keep pushing the game forward. I do have to ask you. So, are we going to get a Kobe edition for 2K24? I mean, it seems like.
You know what? You gotta make that request to the 2K team. But I think like I said, I'm so glad that when he was retiring,
Yeah.
we were able to honor him
Mm-hmm.
while he was among us, and really do that properly. That was such a great moment. I remember going to his final game, 60
Mm-hmm.
points, and that was the same day we
I was
revealed the
there.
cover.
Yep.
And yeah, that was the best. That was the best moment of my life. I try to explain to people, like, when you grow up watching somebody and he's with you for 20 years and he's
Mm-hmm.
with you 3 to 4 to 5 nights a week and he's in your household, and it's not like you're sitting there having a casual conversation with this person. You're making a
Right.
connection through rooting for your favorite sports team. Many people, Kobe was their favorite player.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe was just, he really grew up with a lot of people, especially in Los Angeles. And, watching every single game, I never missed a game from Kobe. I watched every single game for 20 years. You know, it was just, there was a special connection to the people, to the city, and you can still see it. I mean, I thought a really mind-blowing moment was with all this social justice stuff going on in the world right now, and my thoughts are with the people in Black
Mm-hmm.
Lives Matter. That movement is very important. um, it was really telling that all the Kobe, you know murals were untouched during,
Yep.
some of the protests and stuff like that. um, that's crazy, you know and it just shows you he was such a big part of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just wild to think about. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm very proud of 2K for being able to again honor him in the right way. And I know that's what the fans wanted. And I know that's what Kobe would have wanted.
Yeah, definitely. I love the covers. I said I gave a couple copies away. I'm going to get myself a personal copy. And so I loved it. I did want to ask you, you mentioned his 60-point game, but just in general, as a Lakers fan, what are some of your fondest moments of your fandom, your Lakers fandom?
Oh man, I mean, for me, I got really lucky to catch some of, I call it time capsule moments, and I got really lucky to capture a lot of those. So, growing up, my dad would take me to playoff games randomly. When I'm in high school, I don't really have a decision to drive down to Staples Center and go to
Right.
games. He would pull me out of school, and we got to catch, Robert Ory's game winner, Game 4, 2002 against the Kings. Like we were baseline, foul extended, 3 rows up, right in front of us. That happened. So like I got to catch that kind of stuff. A lot of the finals games with the Kobe Shaq era. I when I was in college, I worked 3 jobs. One was to keep my medicine, to be able to pay for my medicine because I'm a diabetic, so I have to pay for my insulin and all that stuff. And then my other 2 jobs were basically just to spend on Laker tickets. So my friends and I would just go to games at Staples all the time because I lived in Pasadena, as about 45-minute drive down to Staples. That's what I did. So we would, instead of buying season tickets, me and my knucklehead friends, we would just buy tickets, per game and just go down to Staples and watch. And that was during, the 2005, 2008 era where Kobe was just going nuts.
Yep.
Got to see 62 points in 3 quarters. That game was amazing. I almost got to go to the 81 game. My dad had surgery and we were planning to go, and he wasn't feeling up to it. And he's like, I remember him always saying like, oh, it's just the Raptors, we'll let me give the tickets away. And I gave them to 2 friends who hadn't gone to a Laker game before. And then I was looking at him the whole time like, you son of a, you really made us miss this. But I got to see so many special Kobe moments when he received the MVP, winning a title. Nothing compares though to the final game, because you have, like, when you're a fan, you have all these like moments of fandom that sticks to your heart. It's like the competition, the loss, the pain, the jubilation, but then you have a night where like all that was wrapped into one emotionally.
Yeah.
And I remember Kobe started off like 0 for 4, 0 for 5 that game. And then it just turned into something like magical, And I always love when people were like, you said you were there. You remember It was like that arena did not let anybody touch the ball. You know what I mean? And I remember talking to D'Angelo Russell about it one time. And he was just like, nah. He's like, I didn't want to touch the ball. He's like, that was going to Kobe every time. I didn't even want to be on the court. I wanted to sit there and watch, and that's how the whole team felt. And it was just such an amazing, special moment. And you had just this influx of all these emotions, wrapped into this crazy moment. And it was just like a storybook. I will never forget that game. I mean, that just feels up here above everything else, and it was such a special night. So that to me was really a moment that stuck out. But I've been so fortunate to see so many Kobe moments through his career, and I'm very blessed in that way to have caught that kind of luck, for sure.
Yeah, that 60-point game, I tried to explain to people what it was like being in the building, and even waiting to get in. I mean, and for me, that particular game is tied to a larger event in my life. I got married 2 weeks before. So my wife and I, so we were planning to get married, and I had a pretty good idea that, Kobe was probably getting close to the end at some point. So I just looked at the, last game on the schedule and said, hey, as part of our honeymoon, let's go to LA and check him out. If he doesn't retire, so be it. We went to LA. So she was like, yeah. So I bought the tickets. And then like 2 weeks later, he releases that letter in the Players Tribune, I believe. And I'm like, oh, wow. So we go to Jamaica to get married, come back to Maryland for like a day or 2, and then fly out to LA for a week. And a lot of people knew I had tickets and all, I'd already spent a lot to just get tickets to come. But when he announced, then like tickets the prices went through the roof. And so one person offered me $10,000, and I was like, nope, I'm not missing this game. And then they said, well, just sell your wife's ticket. I said, no, I'm not doing that either. She loves the Lakers like I do.
That's exactly what happened to me, man. People were coming up on the streets like, you guys got tickets? We're like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
What do I got? I'll pay you any amount. I was like, there's no amount I would sell these for.
That's what I've told people.
You know?
What people were offering ridiculous amounts to go to that game, and to be there and to see the way he started off missing those shots, and then the Lakers were down, and all of a sudden it was just like, he's about to do something Kobe-esque, right? Something that I don't even know if I expected him to still have that in his legs at that point. I mean, and
we were hoping for like a 20-point game.
Yeah,
like realistically,
yep,
because just his body at that point in his career had taken so much wear and tear. I remember talking to a lot of people and like, man, if he got 30 tonight, that would be amazing, And when he started approaching 40, I was like, wow, he's going to drop 40 in the last game. And then it just kept going and going. And it was just like that, effect. It was just that the energy was so crazy that night. Like, it's hard to explain to people. I know, people probably felt it on TV, but like being in the building that night, I've never felt anything like it before. And I've seen some of the best Kobe moments in his career, live. And it was unbelievable. It was magical. This is like the only way I can explain it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What did you feel like when LeBron announced he was coming to LA a couple years ago? I mean, one, did you even think that was possible? And when he finally, when Clutch releases that statement, I mean, you had to be ecstatic, right? I mean,
so I had put out some LeBron to LA videos, and they caught some wind. It was the LA Avengers videos, and like, a lot of people were like, "You're an idiot," And then there was another like, "Yo, this might happen."
Right.
I will say I had a little bit of insight leading into that decision. I kind of put it all in my videos. You know what I mean? Like,
I know those videos. They were amazing.
Let's get him here. Let's do this. That's kind of where I put my energy instead of talking about it. But when he signed, I was so ecstatic because I knew this was going to turn around the franchise. I knew that this was either going to help build the kids up and make the Lonzo, Brandon Ingrams, Josh Hart, make those guys better, or we make a trade for somebody named Anthony Davis, which I also made a video on and made a lot of Pelicans fans mad. But that was always the goal. I mean, Anthony Davis was always the goal, to try to get and acquire him. It wasn't a secret, and things started heating up, at the end of the season previously. And it's like some people think, I still don't get how people thought we gave away too much, because to me it's like you draft to do one of two things. You draft to get players that are great, or you draft to trade away for players that are great, and we accomplished that in spades, clearly. So obviously it's been unfortunate this season. I really think this was our year, and it's been unfortunate with the coronavirus, and obviously my thoughts and prayers go out to so many people and families affected by this right now in the United States and around the world. But God willing, that we can get all the players over there safely in Orlando, and this works out. I think the NBA is doing a really great job of not only just trying to make this happen during this crisis, but also working with the players and allowing them to have a voice. And that's what I always love about the NBA and Adam Silver. He works with the players. So I'm hoping that, everything goes safely. We can get back to basketball and, get our minds away from some of the BS going on in the world right now. And, get back to basketball and watch the Lakers take this thing. It'll be really interesting to have basketball back. I personally just can't wait, because it'll be such a great outlet. And like I said, I'm proud of the NBA for giving the players a voice and working with the players. It's not just trying to shoehorn them back in, to competition. So that'll be interesting when the season, continues, and we'll see how this season shakes out, because I think it'd be a really special Laker championship for a lot of reasons this year. And I'm hoping LeBron can lead them, man, because LeBron rested is a scary thought.
No, it is. I mean, I know there are some folks that think that this would be an asterisk championship, but I'm on record as saying these guys are going to go through something that no other champion has had to go through.
No,
and when we think about the Spurs 99 championship and it being a lockout season, no one considers that as an asterisk championship. They
Yeah.
played under the circumstances that they had, and they won. Same thing with this. This is going to be different. They're going to be isolated. I know some people don't think it's safe to do it in Orlando and all that stuff, but I think that bubble might be one of the safest places in the United States. I mean, the NBA isn't playing around. I believe it was Malika Andrews from ESPN. She kind of documented her experience of going in the bubble. They're taking this seriously. They're not just letting anybody come in and out or you do whatever you want. I think Adam Silver knows what's at stake. He knows that if something does happen in terms of a multiple player breakout, the league could find itself in a lot of issues. And so I think that this will actually it'll be as safe as it can considering all the stuff going on around it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they're doing all the precautions and taking all the safety measures for the players, and that's number one, the most important thing, right, before sports. So Adam Silver has been such an incredible person when it comes to not only running the league but also just relationships with the players. Like I think that's so important right now. If you look at the contrast to like the NFL and stuff like that.
Yep.
Adam really wants to help not only the players get back on the court, but like also allow them to have a voice in what's going on in the world. And I think that's just such an important thing. And I also respect the fact that he's not making everyone go. Like if you want to opt out of this,
right.
Like, obviously it hurts us as Lakers fans that Avery Bradley is not going, but he has a son that's immunocompromised from what I read.
Right.
And it's like, as a diabetic and somebody who's also immunocompromised, it's like, I totally understand that. And there's no repercussions on players wanting to sit out, because of what's going on
right
with this health crisis and other things around the world. I mean, it's just, we are living in an unprecedented time for, in so many ways. And I agree with you. The bubble at Walt Disney World is a great idea. I hope everyone takes it seriously, but more importantly, I hope everyone can stay safe inside that bubble. There's a lot of, I think people always think about the players, but there's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of, older people on staffs and stuff like that. So it's much more than just, the players. It's the safety of everybody involved in the NBA. And like I said, I think Adam Silver is taking steps to really, make this a really great option to get back to basketball.
No, I agree. We often think about the players because they're the superstars, they're the celebrities. But
right.
Lionel Hollins has a medical red flag, and he won't be going with the Lakers now. And so I would imagine as we get closer, be more players, or maybe more coaches, and even supplemental staff that we don't know anything about that may not be able to go. And Adam Silver's talked about it being a viewing experience like we've never had before, with all the different camera angles. I've likened it to the different camera angles on 2K. I mean, maybe we see some. Are you guys NBA 2K TV doing anything with them? Are you going to be down there? Are you allowed to say?
No, we are working on it under the circumstances. The problem is that like for me, I'm immunocompromised, right? So I'm not going anywhere, obviously. All of the interviews right here, you can see my 2K plaque behind me. I kind of do it right here from my desk right here via Skype. We have green screens set up, so our episodes are all done via green screens. But for me, we're preparing for what we can do in a lot of ways. Once you go to that bubble, you're stuck there for 3 months. So, I'm kind of have a running joke with Alexis. I'm like, you ready to go to that bubble? You ready to go get all in?
Right.
She might be down, but it's about safety of us, safety of the NBA players, safety of the situation. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but we're definitely looking to get to Orlando in some form or fashion, and get these interviews going, whether if it's in person or via Skype. We're definitely going to be covering all the action. It's like our season just wrapped, but now we're in the summertime episodes.
Right.
And it's like, we'll have bi-weekly episodes now. So it's just it's nonstop. And we love what we do. And even during these times, I've been proud that 2K has been behind 2K TV and really wanted us to keep creating content through the coronavirus and with so many millions of people staying home, and on 2K. It's been really special to keep connecting to fans and keep this going, and have something for them to look forward to on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, fans love the NBA as you know it. I think the NBA, and you alluded to this, I think earlier, the NBA does a really good job of connecting the players to fans versus, say, the NFL connects more of the team, the brand of the team to the fan.
Right.
I mean, we love the Lakers, but we mentioned earlier both of our personal relationships supporting Kobe over the years. And so the league does a really good job at that. And I'm really interested to see what you guys ultimately decide to do with the bubble. My final question for you, if the Lakers pull this thing off and they win, how does Governor Newsom keep Lakers fans from going to Staples Center amidst the pandemic going on?
Oh man, you know what? You have the celebration online. Have them celebrate on a ride. Put them on a Space Mountain. There you go with the camera. That's how you have them celebrate. But no, I think I think you have to do something on location. Obviously, people are trying to get out there, and there's a lot of reasons. There's so many reasons why people need to get back to work and to get back to things. And I just think, this is a whole nother topic of conversation, but I think our government has not set people up to do those kind of things. And then there's another set of people that just want to go out and have fun selfishly. Wear masks. We've been doing it the way of non-mask wearers, and now look at our country. We did it your way. Let's try to keep people safe, and please, So, it's just like I said, unprecedented times, and I personally can't wait to look forward to getting back to basketball, but at the forefront of everything is everyone's safety, obviously, and I feel confident in Adam Silver and the plans and some of the contingency plans that he's making to do just that. So hopefully, as these players get back on the court and we can root for them and, get back to, enjoying basketball, they can also be safe. And that's kind of my hope with everything, is the safety of everything, so we can continue to have these good things kind of come back to a sense of normalcy.
Yeah, I agree. Wear your mask, people. I had someone message me the other day, a Lakers fan, and said that the mask was messing up their drip. And I said, well, you're wearing the wrong mask. I mean, look, I've got a bunch.
Go ahead.
I've got a bunch of regular masks N95s, and then I've got a bunch of Lakers themed masks coming next week. I mean, put on a mask. It's look what we're facing right now, and it doesn't look like this is going to go away anytime soon. So wear a mask.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me. It's like you'll put on a seatbelt to drive, you'll put on pants to go outside, but a mask is where we're politicizing it. It's stupid. And even if you feel great and you're healthy and young, there's a lot of people out there that aren't. And there's a lot of people that can catch this thing from others. So it's just it's tough. I've basically been inside. My wife does a lot of the shopping and everything else safely, and I don't go anywhere. I know if I catch this thing, that might be a wrap for me. So I pray to everyone that you guys can stay safe, and hopefully our government will get in gear to help people that are in need of it financially. And I just wish and pray everyone out there, their safety, especially in Los Angeles as cases spike. Be safe out there.
Yeah, I've said to people, at first we thought it just impacted older people or people who had a pre-existing condition. Now you're seeing it strike across all age ranges. And, Rudy Gobert, who had caught it, was first NBA player that, publicly came out and said he had it 3 months ago. He recently said his lungs still haven't fully recovered. And so I tell people that's a world-class athlete in his prime 3 months later.
Young
that didn't have any pre-existing conditions, that it still his lungs on 100%. So regular Americans, why risk it? Throw on a mask, be careful. We just ordered groceries this morning. We wipe everything down that comes in here. If I have to leave, I jump right back in the shower when I come home. It's nothing to play around with. So
not at all.
Thanks for joining me, Chris. I hope the Lakers pull this thing out in the bubble. I'd been planning to come to LA if they won. I don't know if I'll be able to come to LA if they win this time, but I hope they win. And I want to say thank you again for joining Lakers Central.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And Lakers fans, keep your head up. Basketball's almost back.